Welcome to Terradome, a bustling world beneath the moss. It was a busy day preparing for the long, cold winter. Among the strongest was Brutus, who could lift 10 times his own weight. He carried the biggest, tastiest crumbs. And there was Pip. Pip was quick, yes, but compared to the others, his carrying days were rather small. Oh, I wish I could carry a crumb like that. My strength feels too little.
But suddenly, the ground trembled. A strange, thick dampness began seeping through the ceiling cracks. It wasn't rain, it was silent and fast.
Water! A flash flood from the surface! It's heading straight for the main food reserves!
The floodwaters surged, threatening to wash away months of hard work. Brutus's great strength couldn't stop the relentless flow.
I can't stop the river, but I can redirect it. Using his agility, Flicker zipped up the wall, grabbing the nearest fallen petal. A perfect soft. His true work had just begun.
One by one, Pip zipped back and forth, carefully rolling glistening dew beads like tiny perfect marbles into the gaps around the petal wall.
The water pressure was immense.
Brutus and the stronger workers stared, realizing that Pip's tiny actions were actually holding back the flood where their brute force had failed. The combined force of the dewdrops and the soft, flexible petal created a seal stronger and more adaptable than any solid rock could have been.
Slowly, he used a small pointed twig from his utility mace to flow toward a safe drainage crack. The water level in front of the storehouse dropped dramatically. The winter supply, the precious seeds and hardened sugar crystals was safe.
Flicker, your quick thinking saved us all. We were too focused on lifting heavy things we forgot how to think cleverly.
It wasn't about being the strongest, Brutus. It was about using what I already had, being small enough to see the tiny details and move fast enough to use them.
The entire colony gathered around, cheering for the tiny titan. They hoisted Pip onto a perfect, large sunflower seed.
A new throne! Pip Nijing, Pip big exactly, Wicket's left run. Clever, fast, and uniquely Flicker.
From that day forward, no ant in Terror ever laughed at a small distribution. Played by a PowerPoint.
The elder ant approached Pip, his antenna drooping slightly with respect. Pip, your quick thinking saved our winter. We must teach every young ant your method of building with light materials. So, Pip began his first lesson. He gathered a small group of eager, very small larva ants around a collection of perfectly spherical morning dewdrops. See? It's not about pushing hard, it's about knowing exactly where to push. The tiny larva watched, realizing that Pip's small size allowed him to navigate the delicate materials without crushing them, something the big crumb carriers always struggled with. A curious little beetle wandered near the training area, startling one of the larvae who dropped his petal. Before anyone could panic, Pip moved like a shimmering black blur, catching the petal midair with expert precision.
Yeah, Pixar! You're a little bit.
The beetle, impressed, bowed its head respectfully and lumbered away, acknowledging the smallest hero in the colony.
Key to unlocking the unique magic only he possessed, and that magic was strong enough to save them all.
The next morning, a strange, heavy silence hung over the Terradome entrance. The air felt oddly damp.
Water! A sudden silent flood is coming down the main drainage slope. It's heading straight for the winter storehouse.
The larger, stronger ants immediately tried to move the biggest, heaviest pebbles to block the path, but the water was too fast, the pebbles too large for them to maneuver quickly enough. Brute's strength wouldn't work. He needed speed, precision, and many, many small interlocking pieces. His special skills!
Quickly, everyone gather everything tiny and watertight. Dew beads, sticky sap, fallen petals, anything that fits together. We build a weave, not a wall.
Following Pip's swift direction, smaller ants began assembling a temporary barrier just ahead of the main dew beads. The rest of the water was successfully diverted into safer, empty channels. The winter storehouse was safe. Not a single grain of precious food was touched.
Flicker, no! Pip, you are the truest titans to nums.
Thank you.
From that day forward, every ant knew true strength isn't about the size of your load, but about using your unique gifts to solve the problems no one else can solve. The celebration lasted until the moss glowed brightest. Pip, the tiny hero, dug a mud seed fragment. He tried to lift the seed fragment, just for fun, but it was still too big. Everyone laughed at him, but with him, celebrating his courage instead of his carrying power.
As the first signs of dawn, he seated down to make speed.
Pip, however, could not sleep. He was still thinking about the flow of the water, how even a small leak could turn into a disaster if ignored. He quietly slipped out of the sleeping chamber, his utility belt jingling softly. He needed to check the diverted channels, just one last time. When he reached the surface, the world was silent, shrouded in heavy morning mist. The air felt strange, damp, and very still. He checked the dam. It held perfectly. A sigh of relief escaped him. He turned to head back inside, But then he froze. Over the crest of a nearby fallen twig, a shadow was moving. It wasn't the shadow of a leaf or a friendly beetle. It was enormous and fast.
It was a monstrous, segmented creature, not on the forest floor, but something different. And it was heading straight for the stored winter food supply.
The centipede was too big to fight, too fast to outrun, and it was heading straight for the main entrance. Hit the one that wants me to die.